Now, in a few hours, the winner of the annual Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership will be announced in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. The award, named after the billionaire entrepreneur Mo Ibrahim, recognises the achievements of former African leaders who've improved the lives and the welfare of their people. Previous winners include the ex-Mozambique President Joaquim Chissano and Festus Mogae, the former leader of Botswana. Well, I'm delighted to say that I'm joined in the studio by the communications and PR specialist James Woods. A very good morning to you. And this is a lucrative prize. How much is it actually worth, and why did the founder feel it was important to give ex-leaders that recognition?
All right, well, the prize itself, this is one of the largest prizes in the world. It's $5 million US. It's paid over 10 years. And on top of that, after those 10 years, the leader also received $200,000 for life, a year for life. Now, it's a great initiative, as was mentioned, funded by Mo Ibrahim Telecommunications guru, brought mobile technology to Africa. I remember being back home in Malawi using Celta, which is now Airtel, founded by him. Now, the reason why he actually decided on the award was he saw, in Africa itself, I think if you look at how structures are run in Africa, it mainly goes down to governance. Whatever you do is related to governance. I think the final buck stops with governance, as we could say. So Mo Ibrahim saw this as an area whereby Africa was failing in a lot of areas. Why not highlight those role models, the leaders who are actually performing wonders, doing great for their countries, lifting people out of poverty,
right, creating
sustainable economic development, advancing human rights, advancing democracy. Why not recognize those leaders and bring them to the rest of the world? Because we tend to hear about the negative sides of Africa. So just for example, I remember Kofi Annan saying when he was in school, his teacher gave him a blank piece of paper and drew a black dot and asked the rest of the class what they saw. And they saw that black dot, forgetting the rest of the paper.
Sure.
So I think when we look at African politics and African governance, we're always looking at the negative sides. We're looking at the Sani Abachas of Nigeria.
Right, so this is one way of really turning things around and forcing the world to reappraise not just these leaders, but also their countries as well.
Yes. So this award itself is showing that we do have wonderful leaders in Africa.
Sure. I mean, just looking at the numbers, you said that they're given $5 million over so many years,
yes,
but also separately from that, a payment for life, a pension, if you like. So the $5 million they're given, is that invested in their country? Is that for good works?
Okay, so basically, if you look at European leaders, for instance, let's give an example of Tony Blair. Leaves power. He's constantly booked around the world to give talks, advise on different issues. A lot of our African leaders don't have those opportunities, but they want to do a lot for their communities. So the prize itself actually helps those leaders go around and actually help with their talks, help in developing certain structures. Like, for example, Joaquim Chissano, who won the award. He's constantly traveling around the world dealing in peace talks.
So it basically funds them in terms of their travel, that sort of thing.
It helps them promote the agendas of development, yes.
Right. I mean, it's quite a big prize, as you've said, and it must take quite a few people to sit down and judge and determine who should be the top dog, given that there are so many worthy contenders. I mean, how many people will be involved in judging it, and what are the standards that they're looking for?
Okay, so basically, Dr. Mo Ibrahim set up a prize committee. So this is an independent committee, so he has no involvement in this committee whatsoever.
He just leaves the guys to get on with it.
He leaves the guys. They'll go into a room. They'll decide who they're looking at. So the criteria is they will look at a leader who has left power within the last 3 years in Africa. So somebody who was, say, democratically elected or has stepped down within their constituted mandated term, has developed the country, has lifted people out of poverty, has driven the sort of improvements we're looking for. We're not just looking for good governance, we're looking at excellence in governance. So they look at that criteria, and they'll look within the past 3 years which leaders have left power and have actually demonstrated that criteria they set down.
So I suppose that the challenge as well is how do you measure somebody's success? Because you may have a leader who says, well, OK, then I want to get so many people out of poverty within 3 years using the following models, but those models might not necessarily comply to international standards, although they work locally within the remit of his or her country.
I think that is a very good question on how you measure that. And I also think that when you're measuring such things, it's very much a subjective issue. So it is, I think you would have to get into the mindset of the prize committee on what they actually deem as being really necessary. But the criteria itself, I guess, is a great criteria that you're looking at the methods they put into place. So you're taking a country from the starting point when they came in. So you're measuring the whole country and you're looking, okay, did they achieve the goals they did? Did people have political freedom? Did they have freedom of speech? Did the people were they lifted out of poverty? Did human rights grow? Did the development grow?
Right.
So you're looking at different sectors, but once again, it is a very subjective aspect of it. And
Sure.
I think the prize committee will probably be the best ones to answer that.
But who's involved in actually judging this? Are we talking about a combination of humanitarians and former prize recipients, or what?
Yes, so if we talk about humanitarians, yes, we do have Mary Robinson, the former president of the Republic of Ireland, wonderful humanitarian. On top of that, we have Graça Machel, the wife of
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We have Festus Mogai, who is a prize winner from Botswana. We have the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Mohammed Al-Baradei. We have Marty Ahtisaari from Finland. So on top of that as well, we've also got Asha Bai Diallo. We've got Salim Salim, the former Prime Minister of Tanzania. So it is actually a very interesting
quite a
list
collection,
of people.
isn't it?
And the interesting thing about these individuals is that even in their own private lives, these are stand-up individuals
Sure.
who are always driving positive change.
I mean, time is running very tight, unfortunately, because there's so much more that I know that we can talk about. But I mean, this is for 2014, and unlike other competitions, contests, call them what you will, we don't know which figures are in the running, but I believe that you've drawn up your own potential list.
Yes, well, basically, as we said, the criteria itself is, let's look at somebody who's left power in the last 3 years, and somebody who's served their mandated term, somebody who's developed their countries. So I was looking at, I was drawing up a list, and I came up with several names. Some of these may be contested. But we're looking at the likes of Mwai Kibaki of Kenya, but he was considered last year, but didn't get it. There was a few worries around when he won his elections.
Of course, the controversy there.
There was also the corruption issues in Kenya during his time. We have Mohamed Marzouki, Tunisia, who was the stand-in president between 2011 and 2014. We're also looking at, well, to some extent, you could say maybe Malawi, Joyce Banda, who was president.
Well, of course, last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but maybe that criteria didn't really fit into the idea of the prize committee. But you've also got Ethiopia, Germa Wolde Georges, who stepped down last year as well, 2013, sorry. So there is a list of numerous people there. I think I came up with a list of about 12 people in total.
Right.
But
so you've given us a flavour of potential candidates. So that's something.
Yes.
Sadly, time does go against us. But James Woods, thank you so much for joining me and talking us through this award. We should know the result later today, and hopefully we'll know whether your prediction was correct.
Fingers crossed somebody wins.
Fingers crossed somebody wins, yes, and that it won't be delayed again. But there you go. James Woods, thank you.